Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Marky in the Mix. Before we get started with today's episode, I just want to make a couple announcements actually. Firstly, the podcast is now available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so that's very exciting. You guys can now listen to the podcast. It will be going out the same time as it comes out on YouTube, so be sure to check that out. Leave a cheeky little 5-star review if you would like. We have the first 2 episodes on there already, as of last week, I do believe. So that's exciting. Also, second bit of exciting news, the podcast reached number 88 in the top 100 New Zealand podcasts in the comedy category. So that is also really exciting. I just want to thank you guys. I actually can't thank you guys enough for it. It's actually insane the amount of love and support that's been shown to the podcast already, and it's only been out for a few weeks. So thank you for that. Today I really want to talk about my experience at Laneway, because I went to Laneway for in Western Springs, so the Laneway festival in Auckland. It's also in Australia, a few different venues. I think it's Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane. There's quite a few areas in Australia where they do Laneway. It's still going on actually. I went to the Auckland area for Laneway, and it was an incredible experience for the most part. I went with Robbie Abundance, who was in the last episode of the podcast, and a few other friends, and it was a very good experience. So I'll take you guys to the very beginning. One of my friends I work with, I went to her house to get ready. We went to her friend's house for pre-drinks, and we played a couple of drinking games, and I suck at drinking games. Just want to point that out. We played beer pong, and we played one called Rage Room, I believe it was called. And beer pong, I'm not too bad at, actually. I'm okay with beer pong. I felt like I did a pretty good job, a pretty solid job. Rage Room, guys, Rage Room is something else. Basically, you have all these cups in the middle of the table. You fill them with drinks. It's the same kind of situation as beer pong. You've got ping pong balls, and you have to bounce the ball into your cup or whatever, and pass it to whoever you want around the table. But that seems simple enough. But there's so many different rules to it. So if you get it in your cup, you're safe. You can give it to the next person. If the person next to you is also trying to get their ball in their cup, if you get your ball in their cup before they do, you put your cup in their cup, and so on and so forth, I guess. I didn't know that rule at the time, so I got yelled at a couple of times about that, but it's okay. And if you get your ball in a cup of drink, you have to take that drink. And I think it's if you... I feel if you miss or something, you have to take a drink. I don't know. So many rules to that. But so I was at their house for pre-drinks, which was a great time. We got very hammered very quickly. But it was a good time. It was a good time. So we had pre-drinks there, and we booked an Uber. So me, my friend, and her boyfriend, we booked an Uber, and he came to pick us up, and then he looked at us and just left. So we then had to book a second Uber to get to Laneway. By the time we managed to get to Laneway and go through the massive queue, I kid you not, the queue was absolutely massive to get into Laneway. It took maybe 45 minutes to get to the front gates of Laneway through this huge ass fucking crowd. It was insane. By the time I got to the general, the main entrance, we were sobered up. We were ready to go. We were definitely sober. And so I pulled out my ticket. So I get to the front entrance. I pull up my ticket on the Ticketek app, which is the app where all of our tickets get sent to. The app was broken. The app wasn't working. I constantly had to try and refresh it. It just wasn't loading. It kept freezing up. The app is awful. The app sucks. It took me ages to get my ticket. And in the end, they had to email everyone their tickets because it turned out the app wasn't working for anyone at all, which was really unfortunate. It sucked for everyone. But anyway, I get the ticket sorted. And so they email it to me. I tap in on it. All good. I get let in. Perfectly fine. We arrived at Laneway at about 3 p.m. So a couple of the acts had already done and gone basically. They weren't acts that I was like excited to see, so it was chill. But oh my word, it was packed when we got there. There was at least 100,000 people running around. It was hot. It was about 27 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. I don't know. I don't know how to convert to Fahrenheit. But it was warm. It was very, very warm. Not a single cloud in the sky. Sun's beating down. I was wearing a religious amount of sunscreen. Like, I was covered head to toe. We all get to Laneway. I lose my friends. It took me absolutely ages to find them. Because we had to split up at the queues. So I was in the VIP queue because I bought a VIP ticket. PS, not worth it. Wouldn't do it again. I bought a VIP ticket. They were all general admission. Took me so long to find them. Actually, unreal how long it took me to find them. It took maybe an hour and a half at least. So I go to the VIP area and I'm like, fuck it, I'm here. I may as well just get something to eat. So I buy some food. I eat. And then I try and run around the whole entire festival. I kid you not, the whole venue, trying to find my friends. And I managed to find them. There's no signal at all. I couldn't get any 5G signal, 4G. There was no Gs. The Gs were gone. But I managed to find them. They sent me a text that managed to get through saying that they were queuing to get hot dogs or something. And I managed to find them. By this point, it was 4:30. Crazy. The fact that it took so long to find them is unreal. But we get there. We make it. I find them. And so they queue to get their food. And by the time they manage to get their food, Joe Keery starts performing. He's one of the ones I really wanted to see, actually. I was very excited to see Joe Keery perform. And I split up from them to find my friend Robbie and his group of friends. And again, takes about half an hour to find them. I was calling them and they were sending me voice notes being like, oh yeah, we're here right next to the stage. It's like, what stage? There's about 3 fucking stages. Anyway, I managed to find them and stay with them. And so we watched Joe Keery. Very, very amazing. It was an amazing set. It was so good. I don't listen to much of his music, but I just really wanted to see him live because I've seen Stranger Things. Big fan. An amazing set. His band is so good. So we're all kind of sat down, just vibing to Joe Keery. And when I say that time it flew by because we're sat in the shaded area for about 2 hours. 2 hours just sat, just vibing. And it was such an amazing time. I made so many new friends. Robbie introduced me to all of his friends and they are all so lovely. So, hey guys, if you're watching, how's it going? A great time. So we're basically at this point just kind of chilling, waiting for Charli XCX to perform because she was headlining. Charli XCX was performing at 8:45, I believe. I think it was 8:45 until 9:50 that night. So we were just basically waiting around for Charli XCX. There weren't many acts that I really wanted to see. I think there was Hamdi, which I missed. I wanted to see Hamdi, but I ended up missing out on him in the end because we were just having too much fun and just chilling. Two Hollis performed. I saw them for a little bit, not too long. Two Hollis was there. Absolute vibe. Very, very chaotic set. It was so good. For the bits I was there for anyway. And then who else was there? Bia Badoobie was there. We saw her. We watched her set. Olivia Dean, I think we saw her set. I watched Remy Wolf for a little bit. She was very, very good. Amazing, talented artist. She is insane. I only recently found out about her actually through her collab with Zed, which is very good. Yeah, so we kind of just like walked around, chilled, had some drinks. I didn't drink alcohol throughout like the festival because I was like done from drinking that morning anyway. Yeah, so we basically just vibe the whole entire time. The thing is, and Laneway has gotten some complaints about this before, and I'm going to complain about it now. The amount of shade that they have is not it. They had these shaded areas, but did they protect you from did they shade you? Absolutely not. I kid you not. They were producing no shade at all. And because it was so warm, people were just passing out like flies. They were dropping like flies. It was, I witnessed so many people like get escorted out of the venue because they were just getting too hot. Drinks were expensive as well. $8 for bottled water. However, they did have like these water stations, but they were like these small, tiny cups. Like you don't get much water in them, and no one wants to carry around cups everywhere. So I don't know. I think as far as planning goes, the shaded areas, they could have been done in a way that produces shade. That's my first qualm. Second thing is, I knew it was going to be a packed festival solely, because Charli XCX was headlining. Nothing could have prepared me for how mental the queue was. Basically, so Charli, we managed to get to where Charli XCX is performing. We get there about 8 o'clock, because we were, I forgot their name. But there were some artists performing before Charli, and we were like, okay, we'll watch the end of their performance, and then we would already be in the area for Charli. And it was fine, wasn't too busy. As soon as about 10 minutes before Charli gets on to perform, swarms of people start coming in, pushing past us. From the beginning, we had a bit of space, we could dance. By the time Charli XCX starts performing, you can't move. You are stuck, you are trapped, you're done for. Literally, the claustrophobia was real. I could not move to save my life. It was insane. Me and my friends were kind of just like all squished together. And it was fine. It was just a lot. I had people pushing into me, people getting on top of each other's shoulders and falling into me. It was wild. But, negatives aside, Charli XCX snatched my wig. She pulled it off my head and threw it. She spat on it. She threw it. She set fire to it. Holy fuck. She gave everything and more. So she has her like little visualizer thing at the beginning. Like, she for about a minute before she starts singing, there's like a little like introduction, like light show, which is very cunty. It was so good. And then as like the music starts, this big green screen that says Brat falls down, and the whole crowd, we all go wild. It like the energy is absolutely, it was unmatched. She goes through this green screen, she like lifts up the screen, she like walks through, she's like, hi guys, what the fuck is up? She's living for the moment. And, she starts singing, and the atmosphere, guys, it almost brought me to tears. Like, I don't usually get emotional for, like, artists. Charli XCX is one of those artists where her music means so much to me. Not just, like, from the, not from just, like, an LGBTQIA plus perspective. Her music just means a lot to me. How I'm Feeling Now is one of my favourite albums of all time. It's so good. But anyway, to see her there in person was absolutely incredible. And, yeah, so she starts singing, she starts like, throwing herself around, twerking. She like points out members of the audience and starts interacting with them. And so she starts off like by singing, songs from the Brat album, not the remix album, just like the original album. So we had like Club Classics, 360, 365, songs like that. Sympathy is a Knife. She ate that one up. That one was such a good. She sang it of all her heart. Girl So Confusing. Actually, that was that's the thing I mentioned. She acted like Lorde was gonna pop out because she was like, I just realised where I am, guys. I'm in like New Zealand. Which is like one of my friends is from New Zealand, and then all the lights turn off and then I go back on again and everyone's screaming and shouting and thinking that Lorde is going to be on stage, and she wasn't. That was quite funny. So she sings like Girl So Confusing, slays, she eats that one up. And then afterwards she starts bringing out songs, like older songs, and that's when things truly get wild. She sang Vroom Vroom, her collab with Sophie, and that was probably my favourite one that she sang throughout the whole entire set. Vroom Vroom is one of my favourite Charli XCX songs. I love her, and I also love Sophie, rest in peace. Sophie's music is just so, it like really revolutionized the like hyperpop movement in so many ways, and I love hyperpop. Hyperpop is an amazing genre. Whether you love it or hate it, it exists. Like we have, so she sings Vroom Vroom, and then she sings you guys are gonna hate me for this. Crash My Car Into a Bridge. I can't remember what that song's actually called. I think it's called I Love It. Yes, that's it. I Love It with Iconopop. Charli XCX finishes her set with I Love It. And honestly, I'm surprised mosh pits weren't formed. Like, I was half expecting a mosh pit to be formed. We're all jumping around, just like pushing into each other. It was just, Charli gave everything and more. And it was all I could have hoped for. She is just such an amazing person, and she was so sweet as well. Like, Charli is probably one of the sweetest people, sweetest celebrities I've ever got to see live. So it was just, forgetting about the massive crowds and the lack of shade, Laneway was so good, solely for Charli, I think. Everyone else was amazing, but like I won't lie, I was solely there for Charli. But I think, yes, it was crowded. Yes, it was hell for the most part, but all of that was forgotten when Charli came on stage. No one cared. It was, it was an amazing show. I know a lot of people didn't have great experiences with it. Apparently there were some like really horrible people in the crowds, which I don't love that. Like, if you're going to go to a festival, be respectful of other people. Don't be twats. But that's all I'll say on that. And then, so after Charli XCX finishes, obviously that's Laneway done. So me, Robbie, and a few of his friends are like, fuck it, let's go to the Laneway after party. So we leave the venue. The situation with Ubers was absolutely atrocious. It was like a 45-minute wait for Ubers. They were like $70. So we're like, nah, fuck that. We're going to walk home. I kid you not, we walked all the way from Western Springs to home. It took a while, but we're like, fuck it, we can walk, it's fine. So we all walk back to our respective houses and get ready for the after party. And we get to where the after party is being held, and absolutely packed. Like, there were a lot more people than I was expecting to be at this after party. And I know it was the Laneway after party, but like, I wasn't expecting it to be max capacity. And I didn't enjoy it. Guys, I didn't enjoy the after party. In fact, I think I was only there for half an hour. Because at this point, I still didn't want to, I didn't want to drink anymore. I was done. But I thought, it'd be fun to go to the after party with my friends. We get there, and again, you can't move. And because it's in such a small space, it was just so warm. Like, everyone was sweating to death. I couldn't. I couldn't stay there for more than half an hour. So I just go home. But yeah, I guess that was the Laneway experience. Like I said, it was, for the most part, it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. And being there with my friends, which, by the way, the friend that I went with, I didn't end up seeing again until the after party, which I think is kind of funny. We completely just lost each other, and we didn't find each other until after the festival, which was that was fun. But yeah, Laneway, I'm happy that I went with a group of friends, 100%. If I didn't go with them, I would have been. I don't think I would have lasted until Charli. Honestly, I wouldn't have lasted an hour. But it was fantastic. It was a great experience. I would go to Laneway again. I think I would be more prepared next time. Yeah, it was an incredible experience. Next up, I just want to talk about the future of the podcast, because I've been doing a lot of reflecting on it, and the podcast is something that I am incredibly excited about. I've been looking at getting some more podcast gear, because at the minute, the setup's decent. So I do apologize if you guys are listening to this. I'll be showing the items I use on camera, but I will also talk about them and let you guys know who are listening what they are. So for microphones, when I have guests on, we use these DJI mini mics, which are incredible. Voice crikey, which are they're incredible. When I have guests on, for example, Nick and Robbie, they were wearing these little mics. They are great. I like to use those. However, I feel like when I'm editing audio, after the fact, it's really, really hard to the mics overlap each other. So I'm not sure if you guys noticed in the last episode that when I was using them, there were little cuts and jumps when I was trying to switch between the mics, which is fine. But I did notice it a lot. And then when I'm doing podcasts by myself, for the meantime, I'll be using the Blue Yeti mic, which is an incredible mic. The only downside is I find it very heavy to hold. So what I want to do is actually get a podcast mic arm thing. It's like one of those, I think they are called just microphone arms, that I can just put down. Instead of having to hold the mic, I can just have the mic dangling down. That's something I want to look into. One thing I picked up today actually were these headphones, which are what are they? They are the Sennheiser HD 280 Pros. The only reason I know about them actually is I don't listen to this podcast, but I was watching a load of podcast gear reviews, and these are the headphones that Joe Rogan uses. And I tested them out today, and they're incredible because they just plug into my mic, and I can hear myself speaking, not in a weird oh god, I can hear myself kind of way. I can hear what you guys are hearing. So I can't hear myself at all other than my voice through the microphone. And it's fantastic because unlike with the mini mics, I can hear how I'm sounding whilst I'm recording the episode, not afterwards. I don't like it when I have the mics going on and then I find out after I record the episode that the mic just hasn't worked, because that's happened before and it's not fun. So these headphones are incredible. But a couple of things I'm looking into. I am looking into getting a different microphone solely for the podcast. I've been looking at the what are they called? Oh, I forgot the brand. All I know is the mics are called the MV7s, and they are mics designed for radio shows and podcasts. So I'm definitely looking into getting those. And at the minute, for YouTube, if you guys are watching on YouTube, I currently record on my iPhone 15 Pro, but I want to be able to get a camera that basically looks a lot better. The iPhone looks great, but I want to be able to get a camera that I can vlog with and also record podcast episodes with. For that, I'm looking at the it's a Sony camera. The fact that I can't remember at all what I was looking at. I think they are the ZV-E10. Yeah, the Sony ZV-E10 camera, which I think was one that Zoella uses for her vlogs. So we're looking into getting that just because I want to be able to give you guys the best experience. I want you guys to listen to the clearest audio you possibly can, and also when you're watching, have a decent quality video. Because this podcast is something that I want to take super seriously. Like, I've never wanted to take a project as seriously as this podcast. I have so much fun recording the episodes, and for, all the feedback that you guys are given, which I'm taking into consideration. I'm looking at like all the comments, all the feedback, and I just want to make this podcast an incredible experience, not just for me because it already is, but for everyone. So yeah, and now that we have the podcast available on Apple and Spotify, audio is more important than ever, and I think audio for a podcast is probably obviously the most important aspect of it in general. So yeah, I'm very excited to, invest and start buying things for the podcast, because, like I said, it's just, I have so much fun making it and recording it. Yeah. Also, one thing I'm curious about, obviously I intend on having lots and lots of guests come on, because I just love interviewing people and just chatting with people. So we've had, Life of Nick, we've had Robbie Abundance, who will be coming back, guys, don't you worry. Robbie has already said that he's keen on coming back for more episodes, which I am incredibly excited about. Robbie is one of my best friends, and the last episode, it was so much fun to film. We had the best time ever. But I just want to know, like, who you would like to see on the podcast. Obviously, you guys can message me on Instagram at markyinthemix, and also just leave a comment down below who you would like to see on the podcast. I mean, some people I probably wouldn't be able to get on. Like, I've got a list of people that I'd love to have on the podcast, but it'd be a bit of a stretch, especially where I am right now. But yeah, I'm really keen to see who you guys would like to have on the podcast. Yeah, so let me know. Leave a comment. Message me on Instagram. I read all my messages, and obviously I read all the comments. Yeah, so let me know who you would like on. Lastly, I also just want to, again, thank everyone for the love and the support that you've all been showing, because it truly, it does mean so much to me. Seeing how many people love the podcast, it is really, really heartwarming. It really, really is. We've now got, we have 5 stars on Apple Podcast, which is incredible. I am, I'm super proud of the work that I'm putting out, but I'm also just incredibly grateful, because without you guys, watching and listening, I wouldn't be able to do this. And also getting the email last week saying that, the last episode made it to the top 100 New Zealand comedy in the for podcasts. That, I wasn't expecting it at all. I was completely blown away. I actually got that email whilst I was at Laneway, chilling with Robbie. I was like, oh my God, Robbie, we've done it. We made it to 100. And, without you guys, that obviously would not be possible. So I just really, really want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Like, it means the absolute world to me that you guys are enjoying it. And I just want to thank you guys for watching and listening. We're 3 episodes in, and I'm incredibly excited for where this will go. I hope to continue this podcast on for years to come. I also just want to thank, Robbie, Nick, and, my boyfriend, Jake, who is so incredibly supportive. Like, without him, cheering me on, I probably wouldn't have even started the podcast, actually. Like, it was something I wanted to do, but Jake was like, oh my God, you should do it. Like, it'll be a lot of fun. You'll love it. So I also just want to, thank him, and just thank all of my friends that are, cheering me on. You guys are all amazing. You all know who you are. I couldn't think of a better friend group, honestly. Yeah, so thank you guys so much just for being there for me. Yeah. If you guys did like this episode, be sure to, if you're on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, please leave a like, subscribe, comment. That really helps out. And if you guys are listening on Apple and Spotify, if you guys enjoyed, you don't have to do this, but like it would mean a lot if you could, leave a 5-star review. And also follow me on Instagram at markyinthemix. Feel free to come into my DMs, with advice, tips, recommendations, anything like that. And also, if you follow on Instagram, you guys also get sneak peeks to future episodes. I post little teasers there. You can also follow me on TikTok, again, at Marky In. Everything will be linked down below anyway. If you guys go into the description, I will have all the links to all my social medias there. TikTok is same deal with Instagram. I post little teasers, little edits. So definitely go check that out. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you in the next one. Au revoir.